Let's go. Alright, so today we're going to multiply decimals. Before we get started on our new lesson, let's take this opportunity to do some warm-up problems. So a salad costs $2.59, soup costs 98 cents less than the salad, and a glass of milk costs 27 cents less than the soup. Oh, this is just like the question we did on Thursday, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. How much do a salad, soup, and milk cost altogether? So, two-part problem. The first part, what do we need to figure out? We know the cost of the salad, but what cost do we need to figure out?
The soup.
And
The milk.
so we need to figure out how much the soup and the milk cost first. After we do that, what do we need to do?
Add them together.
With including the.
Salad.
There you go. Work it out on your whiteboard. Some of this, okay? So here we go. We said the first thing we need to figure out is how much the soup and the glass of milk are, right? So the soup costs 98 cents less than the salad. So we have the salad at $2.59. There you go. At $2.59. And the soup is 98 cents less than that. All right, make sure that our decimals are lined up. So 259, 9 minus 8 is 1. We have to regroup. 15 minus 9 is 6. So $1.61, and this is the soup. All right. Then a glass of milk is 27 cents less than the soup. So the soup costs $1.61, and the glass of milk is 27 cents cheaper than that. Okay? Can't do that. We have to regroup. 11 minus 7 is 4. 5 minus 2 is 3. 1. Now we have to add them all together. We have the salad, which costs $2.59. The soup, which is $1.61. And the milk, which is $1.34. Now we're going to add those three together. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Regroup the 1, 6, 12, 15. Regroup the 1, 3, 4, 5. Should be $5.54. There you go. Now, we have a few more problems that I want you to do. Number 1. 8 times 3/10. 2 is 4 times 2 and 1900ths. 3. 7500ths times 6. 4, 2 and 8/10 times 12. Then 5. It says a zookeeper feeds 12 and 6200 kilograms of food to his animals every day. How many kilograms of food will the zookeeper feed his animals in 5 days? So, this is how much he feeds per day. This is how many days they want to know. What's our problem going to look like? Let's set up the problem for number 5. What's it going to look like? Jeremiah.
62 times 5.
12 and 62 what?
That's, I don't know.
Yes. 12 and 62 hundredths of a what? Kilogram. Times 5. So our answer needs to be in what? Kilograms. Okay? Does that help you set it up? You guys go ahead and solve those problems. All right. So number 1. Mr. Anderson says number 1, 3/10 times 8 is 2 and 4/10. So 3 times 8 is 24. And there is 1 decimal place in the first number and none in the second. So therefore there's only 1 decimal place in the answer. And he did it right. 2 and 4/10. Number 2. Mr. Spalding says that 2 and 1900ths times 4 is 8 and 7600ths. So 4 times 9 is 36. We carry the 3 over, regroup. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. 4 times 2 is 8. There are 2 decimal places in the first number, none in the second, so our answer needs 2 decimal places. 8 and 7600ths, that would be correct. Now, one of your classmates decided that they wanted to do theirs all the way over here. So we'll pull this on here. That way you guys can see it. All right. Terrace 7. All right. So Terrace 7 did number 3, right? And he said that 7500ths times 6 is 4 and 6000ths. So let's see. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. 6 times 7 is. Oh. So not 6 down here. This should be a 5.
Yep.
We'll fix that. There. Then 6 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. So we have 4 and 5000ths, or 4 and 5/10. Because we can actually, when we rewrite the answer here, we don't have to have the 0 at the end. So we can go 4 and 5/10 like that. Okay? Number 4. Which was done by, who did number 4 for me? Miss Showalter. Miss Showalter says that 2 and 8/10 times 12 is 3 and 3600ths. So let's see. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. So we have 56. Okay? We have a placeholder. There's our placeholder. Then we have 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. Then we add them. 6. Oh, 5 and 8 is 13. Okay. We carried the 1 here. 1 plus 2 is 3. Then we have 1 decimal place here. How many do we have here? There's no decimal place in the second number, right? No decimal place in the second number, so we only need 1 decimal place. So all of their work up to this point is right, but because we only have the 1 decimal place here, the answer should be 33 and 6/10. Only 1 decimal place, not 2. Okay? Alright. Last one. We talked about this before we started doing our problems. We had it set up. We have 12 and 6200ths times 5. So 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 5 times 6 is 30. Plus 1 is 31. Carry the 3. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 3 is 13. Carry the 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. So we have 6, 3, 1, 0 as our answer. We have 2 decimal places here. So we need 2 in our answer, which is there. And our answer has to be in kilograms. So 63 and 1000ths kilograms. Yes, sir. How can I help you? Quickly. All right. Moving on. Now, we're going to look at a pattern here. Because this pattern has a lot to do with the 6 problems that we did at the beginning of class. And how multiplication without a decimal and how it relates to multiplying numbers with decimals. Okay? So, let's do the first two together. 14 times 2 is what?
28.
28. So 14 times 2/10 is what?
2800.
No.
2 and
Hold on.
280.
Okay, we had enough wrong answers to where I'm going to explain it to you. So our answer is still 28. But now we have to figure out where to put a decimal, okay? So how many decimal places are there in this problem?
1.
There's only one. It's right here. So that means we have to put one decimal place in our answer. So it's 2 and 8/10. So there's something that's going to be the same about every single problem, and then there's going to be something that's different. What's going to be different about every answer?
There's going to be
The decimal place is going to be in a different place. So, solve the last two on your whiteboard. Okay, so, just so we know, and whoever's watching at home knows, in case we mess up on these problems, the next problem is going to be done by who? State your name.
Alex.
Who's Alex?
Arcilla.
Huh?
Arcilla.
Arcilla. All right, there you go. Enunciate a little bit. There we go. So 14 times 200s. Go, Alex. Huh? Well, show me how you answered it then.
I put 2.
And the next one after Alex is done, Alex, go ahead and work it out. It's going to be done by who? State your name.
Jackson.
That's it, just Jackson.
Gonzano.
Gonzano. You're going to be doing the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to write bigger over here. There we go. 0, 0, and 0 and 2. All right. So this is why we needed to make sure everybody knew that it was Alex that was doing this, because otherwise people would think I'm busy. I'm kidding. All right. Put the 14 on top, Alex. Why would you put the 14 on top? Because there's two digits in 14 that we're going to multiply by. There's only the 2 in the other one. So we put that on top. 2 times 4 is 8. Very good. 2 times 1 is 2. All right. Very good. So we're done. That's 28, right? Now we need to know how many decimal places are there, Alex? There are 2 decimal places. 1, 2. So how many do we need in our answer, Alex? So show me where you put the decimal. So maybe put a 0 at the beginning there. All right, write your answer over here. Good job, Alex. Okay, Jackson. Okay, we have 28. 2 times 14 is 28. Now what? Watch what Jackson's doing here. Okay, so I think he's figured out that he needed another 0 in his answer, but I'm not sure where he's going from here. There's his decimal and there's his 0. Now he didn't show us how he got the decimal in 3 spots, so let's go. Jackson, how many decimal places are there in the problem? 3. So then we come in 3, huh? For the answer. Boom. Okay. Put it up here. Okay, so you can see. Do you see the pattern for me? So by looking at this, you should be able to tell that if I had another problem that was 14 times 0 and 2 10,000ths, that my answer would be that. Right? Because we know that 14 times 2 is 28, and we know that I need 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. So if I count in 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. Okay, so do you see how the pattern is emerging?
Yes.
Alright, it's 14 times 2 all the time. The only thing that's different is where the decimal is. Alright? So let's pay attention to that as we go because we're going to need to know that. So here we go. Our first example. So follow along in your books. I expect it to be filled out. Please don't do like some other people have been doing and not filling these out. Okay, it's very important. So Nina is buying peanuts in bulk. The peanuts cost 75 cents for each pound. She purchased 2 1/10 of a pound of peanuts. How will Nina pay? How much will Nina pay? Round to the nearest cent. So we're going to find our answer, and then we are going to
Round to the nearest cent.
round to the nearest cent. Okay? So here we go. First, they want us to estimate it. So 75 cents is close to what?
$1.
$1. And 2 1/10 is close to?
$2.
Well, that's not dollars, that's pounds.
Oh. 2 pounds.
2 pounds. So, and 1 times 2 is 2. So it's going to be about $2. Okay? Now we're going to multiply as with whole numbers. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to completely ignore the fact that we have decimals here. We're just going to multiply the problem out. So 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 7 is 7. Placeholder. Then 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 7 is 14. Plus 1 is 15. 2 times 0 is 0. Plus 1 is 1. Now we add them together. We have 5, 7, 5, 1. Now they already have all of our little humps and everything. We have to count the decimal places. That's fine. So we have 2 decimal places here. They already wrote it down for us. We have 1 decimal place here. We add these together and we get what? 2 plus 1 is?
3.
So how many decimal places does our problem have in total?
3.
So our answer needs to have
3 decimal.
3 decimal places. And that's why we ended up there. Okay? Now this says round to the nearest cent, right? So if I have this as my answer, how many decimal places can I have for cents? Can I have 3 decimal places for cents?
No.
So how many decimal places can I have for cents? 2. So if I'm going to round to the nearest cent, I have to round to this place value, right? So I have to round to the 7. What is next to the 7?
5.
5. So what's going to happen to my 7?
It turns to an 8.
Right, because if it's 5 or greater, we go up. If it's less than 5, we stay the same, right? So this is going to give us $1.58. Okay? And on the next page, they're going to show us even more so. So they want us to round it to the nearest cent. Like I said, that's the 7 that's right here. So we're looking at the 5. So this is $1.58. Okay, so Nina will need to pay $1.58. And we're going to check our answer. The $2, this is the answer that we got when we rounded, is about $1.58. So our answer, it makes sense. Okay, if we had $15.80, that would make sense because they're not close to each other, right? So why do you think that we're going to check by rounding? Huh?
To check if your problem is correct.
Not if it's correct. Yes. If it's reasonable. Because see, this is what happened. Our actual answer was this. Sorry, I put my rounded answer up there. This was our actual answer, right? So if you put the decimal in the wrong place, let's say you put it here, and you would say, oh, well, I don't need to round because I already have That's 75 cents, so that would be the nearest cent. So if you made a mistake of putting the decimal in the wrong spot, would our rounded answer of $2 be about $15.75?
No.
No. So it would let us know that, you know what, you might want to go back and look at this because maybe you put the decimal in the wrong spot, or maybe you made a mistake with your math, okay? Now, does that mean that it's always going to be right if it's reasonable?
No.
No. But it is a very easy way to say, hey, check this, because it doesn't make sense. It's not reasonable. Although sometimes your wrong answers can be reasonable. Alright, so here we go. We're going to do another one. It says, example number 2 is DeMarcus is buying a guitar pick that costs 50 cents. The sales tax is found by multiplying the cost of the guitar pick by 600ths. What is the cost of the sales tax for the pick? Okay, if you remember, we talked about percents a while back. So 600ths is actually 6%, okay? Which sales tax, I believe here in the valley is 8.25%, so it's pretty, this will be a good question for us to figure out. So we're going to find 50 times 6/10. Now, they already did the estimate for us. They said it's going to be close to what?
$0.
It's going to be close to $0. All right? So, we're going to solve it. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 0 is 0 plus 3 is 3. All right? Now, I'm done. The math is done. It's 300. What do I need to find now? Yes, ma'am.
The decimal places?
The decimal places. So I'm going to count my decimal places. How many decimal places are in my first digit in my problem? There's 2. How many are in my second number in my problem? 2. So I'm going to add those together and I'm going to get
4.
4. Now I counted my decimal place. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need something here, right? So what am I going to put there?
A 0.
And then before the decimal, I'll put another 0. So, what's the sales tax going to be?
0.
It's going to be 3 cents. Okay? So our sales tax is going to be 3 cents. So let's figure this out. So this times that is, put a dollar sign there because it's cents. So the sales tax is 3 cents. Now, the product is close to the estimate of 0. So our answer is reasonable. Because 3 cents is pretty close to nothing. Correct? Yes?
Can't you just put 3 and then the cent sign?
No, because
Now it looks like $3.
we're doing it with, this is a decimal problem, so we want to make sure we do the decimal. Okay? Alright, so our guided practice. When you're doing your problems at home, they're going to want you to check your problems by rounding or something similar in order to check for reasonableness. Because it's a check. When you round and you multiply, there are different ways that you could do it. For example, for this one here, I would probably do this. Which would give me 0.5. But if you did 1 times 1 equals 1, that would be acceptable too. So either way, this or this to check your answer will work for me. I am fine with that. Okay? I just want you to show me something that you did to prove that your answer was reasonable. So we're going to rewrite the problem so we can actually work with it. So we're going to stack them because we don't want to do linear math. We want to do math where we can work. That way we can show what we're doing. 6 times 8 is
46.
48. So we carry our 4. 8 times 0 is 0 plus 4 is 4. Now we have to count our decimal places. There's 1 there. There's 1 there. So how many do we have total?
2.
2 decimal places. So I have 0 and 48 hundredths. Is 0 and 48 hundredths close to 5 tenths?
Yes.
Is 0 and 48 hundredths close to 1? Yes, so either way, this would show us that your answer is pretty reasonable. Okay? So you can decide how you want to round. Our next one, 1 and 7 tenths, I would round to 2. 2 and 4 tenths, I would round to 2. It's going to give me 4, so my answer should be somewhere around 4. This is just to check my answer. Okay? So I have 1 and 7 tenths, 2 and 4 tenths. Multiply it out. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. Placeholder. That's important. When I get done with the 4, I bring down a placeholder. Don't forget your placeholders. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. I add them together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 4 is 10. 1 plus 3 is 4. Now I count my decimal place. How many do I have here?
1.
How many do I have here?
1.
How many do I have total?
2.
So I start with my answer and I go 1, 2. My answer is
4 and 8 hundredths.
4 and 8 hundredths, not tenths. Okay, boom. Next one, I'm going to round to 1 and 4. So same thing, 4 times 1. Should be somewhere around 4 for number 3. Okay, so I'm going to work this out. Now I will tell you, here's a secret. If you have one of your numbers that only has a 1 digit that's not a 0, for example, this, put it on bottom, because it'll make your math a lot simpler. Okay? If I can go 3 and 8 tenths times 9 tenths, all I have to do is multiply out the 9. 9 times 8 is 72. Here's my 7. 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 7 is 34. Now, how many decimal places I have here?
1.
How many do I have here?
1.
I add those together. How many do I have total?
2.
So I count my decimal places. Boom. 3 and 42 hundredths. Is that close to my 4 that I rounded?
Yes.
So it's reasonable. So, tonight for homework, you're going to work on 405 and 406, and you're going to go to number 21. Okay? So, your first set of questions says multiply, check for reasonableness. That is exactly what we just did. When we get into our word problems, things are a little bit different, but not much. Okay? Find the unknown. In this case, our unknown is the answer. So do not get confused. You still just have to multiply 81 hundredths by 7 and 3 tenths. That is what will give you B. B is your answer. Okay? Just because they started throwing letters in your problems doesn't make them any harder. The nutrition label says that a serving out of a bag of chips has 3.7 grams of fat. About how many grams of fat are there in 2.5 servings? This is one of the word problems that you have already done. Alright? This is the same as the 12 and 6200 kilograms and so forth. So, you're going to work your way through here. You're going to go to 21. If you have a problem on your math, where will you find your answers? You can double check here.
YouTube videos.
Thank you very much. You guys may pack up and get ready to go.
You know how you guys were talking about like like bad stories. I had one bad day. It was like really bad. I was coming home from I was going home from Lucas's house, and I was.
Hold on a second. Let me finish this.
Alright.
Actually,
I missed the bell.
see you, bud. See you, bud.